You are tuned in to Kids
In the Pit.
Hey guys, it's Gabe from the Kids in the Pit podcast. Today I'm interviewing Chaka from the hardcore band Burn. I saw you guys play in Thompson Square Park last year with Madball, Cro-Mags, and Wisdom and Chains, and a lot of more bands. I can't remember though. Well, thanks for joining me today. Mind if I ask you some questions about your musical career?
You know what, Gabe? I prefer you don't ask me anything. I just want to sit here and stare into your eyes. Let's have a stare off right now.
Yep.
Let's see
Okay.
who blanks first. No stare off. I don't want to waste people's time.
Okay.
But that would be fun, right? That might be a later segment in your kind of
could be cool.
podcast. Yeah, let's get it. Ask me whatever you want. Let's do it.
Okay. So for those that don't know, what do you do in the band Burn?
Yeah. So in the band Burn, I'm the singer, or yeller, or screamer, whatever people want to call it. And I get up there and I yell and scream and jump around and convey energy. And usually that energy is something that's designed to get people to feel a certain way. In my view, feeling is a big part of why we do music, and gave that expressive capacity that comes through feeling, I believe, is healing. So
Yeah.
that's what I do in the band.
So how long has Burn been a band?
Complex question. Burn started in 1989 when you were just a young boy. I'm sure you weren't born in '89. That was
Very
a joke.
young.
Just
Very
testing you.
young.
Just testing you.
I was negative, actually.
I know. See, there we go. I'm testing you. No, we started in 1989. Burn has broken up for many times for different reasons. Oftentimes it's the couldn't find a drummer. Me and Gavin are arguing, whatever it is, life stuff. So Burn started in '89, maybe even '88, but on and off until now, right? So we've probably been together about half of that time in real life. So if it's whatever it is, 22, 23 years, we've probably been a functioning band for maybe a decade of that time, maybe a little less.
Nice. So where is Burn from, and do you all still live there?
Yeah, great question, Gabe. We're from New York City, Brooklyn, New York. We were early transplants to the Williamsburg environment in Brooklyn. Now Williamsburg is a very expensive, hoity-toity place for people to go and be cool. When Gavin, myself, and Alan Peter Cage, who also plays in Quicksand, played in Burn, plays in Quicksand. He was our first drummer, or our first real drummer. We were living in Williamsburg. We had a whole house, a 3-story house. Tom Capone, also from Quicksand and beyond, lived with us as well. Most of us are still in, actually, I think all of us are still in the city, but in terms of who's in the band today, myself and Gavin are both still in New York. Alan, who's no longer in the band, is still in Brooklyn, I believe, as well. And I'm not sure I think Jim Carroll has been playing bass with us lately, wonderful player, and Jim's also based in New York, so
Nice.
so New York based, yeah.
So I like some Quicksand songs. They're good.
Which ones?
Um,
Or what record? What record do you like best? Maybe do it that a bit easier.
I know it's like the first record. I think I forgot what they're called.
Do doom do doom do doom do doom do doom.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
That one called?
Yeah, it's good. Keep us glued together. I don't even know the name of the song. It's so funny. Maybe Omission? I don't know. Maybe Omission.
Phaser and Dine Alone, apparently.
Oh, okay, there you go. There you go. Same record, but I was close.
Yeah. So for those not familiar with Burn, what song should they look up in your opinion?
Oh my God. If you're not familiar with Burn, just crawl under a rock and just don't ever come out. No, I mean, I think that if someone today was going to get interested in Burn or kind of check out Burn, Gabe, I would probably point them to maybe 1 or 2 songs off of each of our kind of releases, right? So we kind of started out in '89, as I shared, and we released 1 EP on Revelation Records, right? So that EP, I mean, there's a bunch of songs on there. Shall Be Judged might be the kind of biggest kind of song on that EP. It's a song about kind of understanding your place in the overall ecosystem of the world, especially as it relates, Gabe, to consumption of different food products, right? Specifically in this case, kind of meat and stuff like that. Then we released an EP called Last Great Sea. So I would say off of Last Great Sea, maybe Numerality, which is a wonderful political treatise that Gavin actually wrote the lyrics to, which is still kind of apropos today. After that, it's a record EP called Cleanse that we released, and from Cleanse, I would recommend Cleanse, which is that kind of name of the EP, right? Yeah. And then we had another record on Bridge 9. Drums of War might be the song on that. I'm forgetting the name of that. That might be a working title. But then we have a new record, an EP, a new LP, a newest LP. It's not new, but it's a few years old. And it's our first LP, Gabe, and there's a song on that record called Do or Die, right? Which is about the kind of hardcore energy, when I got into it, which is that kind of compacted intensity of hardcore that makes you feel like, okay, when I'm feeling urgent and when I'm feeling like I need to get something done, there's a music that kind of supports that desire, right? And that kind of that aesthetic of really going for it and recognizing that, hey, like, I didn't come up rich or I didn't come up this or that. So if I want to make it, I have to go ahead and do it myself, right? I have to put it all on the line and I have to go and do it, right? So those are the songs that I would kind of say people might check out from each of our records.
Okay, I guess I'll check those out.
Yeah.
So what is your favorite place you've toured in, and what's the most obscure place you've toured in?
Favorite place to tour. I gotta say, I think that back in the early 90s, my favorite places to play was always the kind of New York, Connecticut, Boston weekend. Gabe, like when you're in a touring band and you're based in an area, usually you do weekend shows, right? Because people have lives and girlfriends and jobs. So you say, okay, we're gonna do a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and we're gonna cover whatever it is, 600 miles, right?
Yeah.
4 hours or whatever it is worth of total drive time. That's 4 or 5 hours, right? So usually we do a New York show, right? Or if actually, I'll take it back. Usually it would be a Connecticut, Rhode Island, Boston show, right? So there was a place called the Anthrax in Connecticut, which was amazing. Then you might play like I think it was like the Metro or something like that in Rhode Island. And then you play Boston. You might play the Avalon, not the Avalon. What's the name of that? Goodness God. There's the Middle East, and there's a bigger place that we played that with AF.
Yeah, I've heard of the Middle East and Cambridge.
And the Middle East still, the Middle East, Cambridge, the Middle East still does shows. So it would have been those weekends of doing like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and kind of leaving Boston, on a Sunday morning. And there's certain vegan and health food store places that we used to love to go to. And this is before everybody was kind of on some health food store stuff. Like now, regular supermarkets have a health food store aisle, right? You kind of go down the aisle, it's like all health foods and stuff like that. Like back in the day, you have to go to specialty stores, right? And so Boston was early with a lot of places, with a lot of stores like that, where other regions aside from New York really weren't. So I used to really like those places. From an obscure standpoint, I think the first Burn show was pretty obscure now, but it was a place called ABC No Rio. And ABC No Rio was basically a squat. And it comes out of that kind of punk rock aesthetic that says, we're going to take nothing and we're going to make it something, right? It was like an art space that they kind of turned into a DIY venue. Quicksand also played there. Bunch of bands played there. But it was kind of place, if there was a stage, I don't think it was a really serious stage. If there was sound, it wasn't very serious. But it was something about it. It was the beginning of things, and it felt very alive, and it felt very contagious and very necessary. So that, even though you said obscure, it's obscure now because now every venue is blown out with like great speakers and all this stuff. Yeah. And ABC Rio really wasn't like that.
Also, my mom said she's what did you say it was? Venue you were just talking about?
Which one? ABC No Rio?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yes, apparently she's been there, and it's in New York City.
That's correct. It's downtown Lower East Side, correct? Yeah.
Yep. So
pardon me for not sharing that. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So do you have a crazy or funny tour story you want to share?
Give me crazy in what way?
Just I don't know, just like something really weird or something very odd, I guess.
We found a cat on one tour. We were at a rest
Cat?
stop and a kitty cat. Yeah, we were at a rest stop and it was clear that somebody had abandoned this cat. So we ended up taking this cat on the rest of it. Sounds ridiculous to say out loud. We ended up taking this cat on the rest of our little short tour. I think it was like maybe like 4 or 5 days, something like that. And that cat is still with someone related close to the band. So it's pretty
Oh,
interesting.
nice.
But I think finding a kitty cat was pretty cool. But I mean, I think a lot of those today, the shows back, the shows in like the early '90s, all of them were basically crazy. I mean, like for one thing, I remember going to CB's and just going in CB's, it was like a whole different climate. Gabe, you'd walk in there and it'd be so hot that like your chest would compress just from like the heat and the kind of humidity.
Oh,
There was a place like this is the story for you. There's a place called what's it called? It's in Reading, Pennsylvania. Something Sounds. Now I'm forgetting it. Oh my God. But there was one weird guy, God bless his soul. I don't know. Maybe I hope he's doing great. I'm not gonna say his name, but he ran the place. And it was
wait,
just such a
is it the Reverb?
it's Unisound. Unisound.
Oh,
And we would run into various there'd be white power or kind of racist skinheads or whatever
oh,
that would come out to some of these shows. There were straight edge kids. It was everybody. But Unisound shows were always a weird kind of wild card where something crazy like would happen. I think there was one time when somebody didn't get paid and they took something or some craziness. I mean, it was
oh.
just one of those crazy, crazy, crazy venues that people played at, but still it was really kind of like a bit interesting, put it that way.
Huh. So, what was your first punk concert and how old were you?
First punk concert, Trip Six, New York Hoods, and Underdog at the CBGB establishment. I was 16 years old. I went to that show because my classmate was Bobby Steigerwald, who actually was the singer for the New York Hoods.
Ooh, that's cool.
I'm sorry.
That's cool.
Yeah. I had gotten into hardcore on my own and had met him, but that ended up kind of being the kind of thing that made me say, yeah, I'm gonna go to this thing by myself, right, downtown in the city, and I'm gonna check this out, right.
Yeah,
So that was my first show.
that's cool. So,
Yeah,
what are some bands that first got you into hardcore?
100%. Yeah, so I got into hardcore in the waiting room of a kind of a not an urgent care, but like my little sister sprayed oven cleaner in her eye. I was watching her. And she had
Oh,
gotten out of my sight. She sprayed oven cleaner, called my mom, we had to go to hospital. So I'm like in the waiting room and I asked my mother for her little portable music player. She gave it to me and I'm like, flipping through. I wanted something different because I was so freaked out and I'm so concerned about my little sister. I didn't want to listen to anything I knew. I just wanted to be somewhere else. And I came across WNYU, which is the radio station associated with NYU, right?
yeah.
And there was a show in a time called the New Afternoon Show. And the first song that they played was a song Scratch Acid Berserker, which I really didn't love as much. But then they played Salad Days by Minor Threat. And I was like, okay, I kind of like this. Like, I was already into rock and stuff like that. I was like, yeah, I kind of like this. So I guess it would probably have been Minor Threat's probably the first punk song that I was like, yeah, I like this. And then Black Flag, like me and my dad, I was already kind of going downtown and stuff like that, being in the city because I was like buying hip hop records and DJing them when I was really young. And I had already kind of seen a bunch of kids with like, the leather jackets with stuff kind of paints on the back. And there was a lot of kids that had Black Flag, like written on their jackets. So I was like, okay, I guess I'm getting Black Flag. I'm going to buy Black Flag. They like Black Flag, right? I'm going to be down. Let's get a Black Flag record. So I bought Black Flag Damaged. And that probably, I mean, the crappy thing about that one, Gabe, is that you only go down from there in Black Flag's catalog, because that to me is by far their standout record. And it was tough for me because I was looking for another record to be as good as that record, and it's not happening. So Black Flag Damaged and Minor
Threat. Nice. So, what is a band you suggest other people go see live?
Band I suggest people go see live: Madball, Blood Clot, AF.
Nice.
My boys, Rebelmatic, Activator from New York. There's a couple of bands like End It's a band now that people are starting to kind of get to know. um, Gulch, um, a bunch of bands. There's a lot of interesting kind of newish kind of stuff out there. That thing's really good. Also, I mean, like I went and saw Youth of Today when they had their reunion show. Everybody, they're still doing their thing. Gorilla Biscuits, obviously, all the old friends are doing their thing. So yeah, there's a lot of opportunity for good show.
I actually sang on stage with Agnostic Front at the Holiday Jam in December.
Oh, very good, very good. So, are you in Pennsylvania?
No, we're in Delaware, so Pennsylvania is
Close.
right above us.
Yeah.
Philly's like an hour, and then Reading's like hour 30, 2 hours, something like that.
Cool.
Yeah. So, what was your favorite TV show as a kid?
A-Team is the first thing that jumped out at me. A-Team was about, you're not familiar with the A-Team, are you?
No.
So A-Team was about a group of ragtag ex-army guys that all had specific and unique personality quirks that were part of an ad hoc do-gooder crew run by this guy. I think it was Hannibal was the main leader, right? And so they would go around with their military expertise, kind of doing good things for people that had no other kind of recourse to get justice. So I love the A-Team. I like the Cosby Show. I guess those two are probably my favorites.
Nice. So if you could be an animal for a day with the promise that you won't be killed or eaten, what would you choose?
Oh. Hoya. I'm going to be Hoya for a day. He's an animal. I'm kidding. I love Hoya. I'm just because, he always says that the animals,
yeah.
I don't know if that, hopefully. An animal. I mean, so I guess I might want to be a gorilla, right?
Yeah.
I would kind of look at another kind of primate and kind of compare and contrast that experience. So yeah, maybe a gorilla.
Yeah, like a monkey or gorilla would be fun because like you can just swing everywhere. You can eat as many bananas as you want. Amazing.
Yeah, I think I'm going to stick with gorilla though over monkey. I feel like monkeys are a bit they just seem emotionally unstable and dangerous from what I understand.
And they throw poop at people.
Yes, that's correct.
Which is funny, but I don't think I would like to be hit in the face with monkey what's the word?
Pox. Poop.
Defecation.
See, Monkey Defecation was actually the first band I was in. We didn't play any shows.
A band called Monkey Defecation?
That was my first group.
Dang it, that was gonna be my band.
No, that would have been a great name, but no. Or I just just Defecation, which probably exists as a band.
Yeah, Defecation is an amazing name.
Yeah.
So if you could tell your 11-year-old self anything at all, what would you tell him?
Go for it, be smart, always respect your parents. Always respect your parents, always respect your parents.
Nice. So would you like to add anything before we wrap things up?
Yeah, I would. I would like to tell people, like to share that the beauty of music is that it allows us to kind of come in contact with something that is ephemeral and kind of internal and kind of this kind of innocuous thing. And, writing, poetry, other art forms can kind of allow you to touch that, right? But even inside of yourself, just going inside yourself and meditating, sitting in quiet contemplation and allowing yourself to watch your thoughts can have a similar healing quality to listening to your favorite song. Yeah. Oftentimes listening to your favorite song, it frees up emotion that might be bottled up within you. We go and we dance in the pit, kids in the pit, we go in the pit and we go, we rock out and we do the thing, and then you feel better, right? There's a catharsis, meaning that you're getting this energy that was pent up, you're getting it out, right? And now your bodily systems are now allowed to serve your unit, yourself. Oftentimes when we're stressed, right, we then begin to turn our focuscape externally, right? And then we're not healing, we're not happy, we're out of sync with ourselves. So what I would share to people is that, take the time, treat yourself like a song, and just sit and listen to yourself in quiet contemplation. Let your thoughts go by. Command your body. Let your body know that that your mind is in control of the body and not vice versa. Oftentimes we let our body be the mind. But just sit there and allow yourself to watch your body, watch what it wants, watch its cravings, watch its tremors, control the body, command the body. And the more that you do that, the more magical, empowered, and important your life will become.
Nice. Well, thanks to Chaka for joining me today, and thanks to all of you for watching or listening. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel or follow me on Spotify and other streaming platforms. Until next week, bye!
Bye. Thanks, Gabe. You're awesome.